talk now. This MMA, what we talking about? Yeah, you tuned into the pod now. Gonna be hard for you to stop now. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in.
Welcome back to another episode of Caged In. I'm your host, Chris DiCarlo. Got a very special guest making his debut on the show. It's my man, Hassan Graham. How we doing, brother?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good.
Hey, man, I haven't had you on the show before. It's been a long time coming. Glad we could finally make this happen. I know you got a big one coming up in September. Glad you could carve out a little bit of time, come on the camera and chop it up with me a little bit.
For sure. Definitely a big one, man. My return to Cage Titans. I'm excited to be home.
Yes, sir, man. We're ready for you, man. We were waiting for you. It's been almost a year. We're glad to finally have you back at Plymouth Memorial Hall. Before we get into that one, man, we'll talk about that. We'll promote that one for sure. I want to get into your background a little bit. I haven't spoke to you on the show before, so I'd like to get to know you a little bit better. Can you just talk about kind of like where you were born and raised, what was growing up kind of like for you?
Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Growing up was wild. Definitely in the city, it's a different environment. It's you gotta survive out in the city, especially in Brooklyn. I was the oldest of four, three sisters behind me, so I was always a grinder. Always went out, got the job done. Had to provide for my sisters at a young age. So growing up, it was tough, but it taught me a lot and gave me a lot of experience for today.
Yeah, for sure, man. Growing up and through school and whatnot, did you play any other sports? Like I know you have a background in football, kind of. Can you talk about like the sports that you were involved in?
So I never played no sport until high school. My freshman year of high school, I did football, wrestling, and track. And funny story about wrestling, I actually signed up for wrestling because I thought it was the WWE.
Yeah.
So I signed up for it because I thought it was like the WWE. I'm like, oh, y'all got wrestling like this?
Yeah.
Because I moved from New York to Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
So in New York, I really, I didn't go to school. I didn't do good in school. And then I moved out to Mass and, my dad got my head straight. So that's when I started playing sports. So wrestling, like I was saying, I'm like, oh, yeah, I got WWE. Let me sign up for this. And I was so blinded to everything because I was excited.
Right.
The posters and everything is right in front of me. I'm just signing the paper for practice. First day to practice, I go and it's just mats. And I'm looking around like, nah, this is not what I signed up for.
Right.
And then I stuck around and about probably 2-3 weeks into practice, they pulled out that singlet. And I was like, I don't know. I went home, tried on the singlet, and I was like, yeah, I'm not wrestling. I'm all set.
Yeah.
It's all I wear. I'm not wrestling.
Yeah.
But I stuck with it for 4 years. I won 1 state title. 2 Western Mass titles, and I had a great time when it came to wrestling. Track was another sport, but that was just to stay in shape, and football was my main sport at the time, but I fell in love with wrestling.
Yeah, man, I love to hear that. Did you end up going to play? I think you went and played football in college too, right?
Yes, I went to the University of Massachusetts. I went there for a year for football.
Nice, man. Was your original dream to, kind of take football and like turn that into like your career and, maybe make it to the league one day?
It's crazy. It wasn't. I actually played sports because of my dad. So when I first started doing sports, it wasn't for me. It was more for my dad because he was a big athlete. So I never loved football until about my senior year. And then it took me to the next level. It took me to college. And I was more prepared for football than I was school.
Right.
So I wasn't a school guy, but yeah, I never loved sports that much. I still don't watch sports to this day.
Yeah.
Like I watch it here and there, but I'm not a big sport guy.
For sure, man. How'd you end up getting involved in mixed martial arts then? Can you kind of tell me the story about the first time you went into the gym? How'd you fall in love with the sport? And then what kind of kicked off this journey that you're on now?
So MMA, I wanted to do MMA in high school. Like I was watching MMA since high school. So I always wanted to fight. And my dad was like, nah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So during COVID, actually, is when I got sick of just working out. I always was working out, staying in shape. But I lost motivation when it came to going to the gym. So I hit up one of my boys that work out. I actually fight, Sage. And I'm like, yo, I'm about to start training. And he was like, pull up to the gym. And that's how it started. I started training. And then it was during COVID. So nothing was going on. No smokers, no
Right.
fights, nothing. And my plan was one and done. I just wanted one fight and I was going to be done. That was the plan from the
Yeah.
beginning.
That's everybody's plan, I feel like. And then you get that hook.
Oh, you get hooked. You get hooked. This is the worst drug ever right here.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I know you go by the nickname the Bounty Hunter, man. What's the story behind the nickname and how'd you get it?
Ah man, the nickname, it was just one of those, me and the coaches tossing around names. Um at first I didn't want a nickname. I just wanted to stick with my own name because it's
Hmm.
like, just stick with your name and go with the flow. But everyone got nicknames, and I was like, I need a nickname. And it was one of those just bouncing around names, texting my dad, texting my coaches, texting my girl.
Hmm.
And the Bounty Hunter just hit me. I was like, oh, the Bounty Hunter. And I just liked it. And it wasn't official. It wasn't official. My first fight, no, my fight against Jeff is when I told them. But in my mind, it was like, what's your nickname? And I just said it. I wasn't thinking.
Right.
And from there, it just took off.
Yeah,
And that's
man.
it.
That's how you know for sure. That's how you know. If it just rolls off the tongue like that, man, that's how you know that's the one.
Oh yeah, and the bounty could always be collected. Sometimes you drop the bounty, but you could always spin around and grab it again.
That's right, man. That's right. You mentioned your coaches a little bit, so I kind of want to, hear about your gym. Can you tell us, what's your main gym? What do you call home? And then kind of what's the vibe of your gym for anybody that doesn't really know?
All right, so my main gym is Springfield Society at the moment, and it's a little fused with my old gym, Chapman's House of Pain. I still got my coaches I started with. We just basically move locations. We're at a different gym.
Mm.
I'm at a jiu-jitsu gym now, which I needed. I had to step up with my jiu-jitsu. And the vibe it's a mellow vibe. Everybody come in there and work hard, grind it out. I also got to give a shout out to G&G because that's another big gym that's part of my camp. All throughout my fight career, I always go over there and they help me out. So those two are basically home base. I get
Nice.
a lot of work done there. It's a good vibe. It's a bunch of dogs in there, a bunch of young dogs coming up also,
Hell
and
yeah.
we're working.
Nice, man. For this camp specifically, you got your home gym. Are you, cross training at any other places besides G&G, or is that kind of the only place you're really stepping out to?
Um, I used to go to FAA, but this is a FAA guy.
Mm,
I also used to go to Parker's gym, but he also trains at Parker's. So for this camp in particular, I'm staying home base. I'm in the Springfield area.
nice, man. I love to hear that. Let's get into your fight history a little bit, man. Your amateur career, you were 4-0, capped off the amateur career by, capturing that Cage Science heavyweight amateur title. How did it feel to kind of put a stamp on the end of your amateur career by capturing gold and then kind of riding off into your pro career off that 4-0 resume that you kind of built in the Amis?
Man, it's hard to explain. I shot off like a pistol. If you actually look at those fights, it was
Yeah.
legit back to back to back,
It
and
was like
that's
four
how.
fights in like 10 months.
Oh yeah, so it was all. It was just me going. That's how I go. So I plan on doing that right now. If I stay healthy, it's gonna be back to back to back.
Nice.
But as far as the amateur, I was having fun.
Mm.
So I wasn't thinking about nothing. It was strictly fun to me. Like I said, I had that first fight and I got hooked. And from there it was just let's do it. It didn't matter. Let's go. Let's go have fun. And that's what it's all about for me. As long as I'm having fun, you're gonna see me around.
Hell yeah, man. I love to hear that. The fans, we love to see you fight. So the more that we get to see of Hassan Graham, the better for us for sure, man. After that AMI title win, man, and you decided to go pro, like I said, only 4 months of an amateur career or 10 months of an amateur career, 4 amateur fights. Why was that the right time for you after the heavyweight title win? Why was that the right time for you to turn pro?
I mean, this is not a sport where you should stick around and play games. I recently just turned 30. I
Mm,
know that's young, but if I want to make it to the next level, I had to get those pro wins. I had to get in the pro weekends. I had to start, building that resume. That amateur resume counts, but it really don't. That's practice.
mhm.
So I had to start building up that resume as a pro. And I didn't want to take any damage as an amateur. I was still fresh and I'm still fresh. So I wanted to jump in the pro weekends and see what the deep waters look like there.
Definitely, man. Definitely understand that. Your pro debut, man, Cage Titans 56, you make quick work of your opponent, Jorge Vega, first round knockout. What was it like kind of walking out to Plymouth Memorial Hall with a clean slate, 0-0 record, pro debut, and to go out there and make a statement like that in your first fight?
Man, that was exciting. Vega was the first fight I had where I was super nervous because I knew Vega was a striker. Like, he was coming from a Muay Thai world. And
Right.
I also like to strike. So I was super nervous for Vega. Vega was a knockout artist, 3 knockouts. He had 3-0 in Muay Thai world. So in my mind, I knew it was going to be a banger. I did not expect that. I'll tell you straight up. That I did not expect. I knew one of us was going down. I said it before the fight. Said one of us is getting knocked out. I didn't expect it to be the first round, and I didn't expect it to go like that. I was hyped. I mean, you see the footage. I was hyped, but I was also real nervous because Vega was slick, good head movement and everything. But that's one of my highlights, man. I was really excited off that one.
Yeah, man. You know, you've kind of built like such like a big fan base inside the Memorial Hall over there in Plymouth as well. So, you know, I was in the building for that one as well, and everybody was going crazy for you. Whenever you pull up to the Memorial Hall, man, it's always love for you and the fans and the crowd in the Memorial Hall, man. So, definitely excited to have you back for this one for sure.
Yeah, and I love them too, man. I came out of nowhere and they took me right in and showed nothing but love. So I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Let's talk about the PFL a little bit. I know in February you were invited over to the PFL Challenger Series. You took on Abraham Babley. First of all, I want to know, how did this opportunity kind of come around for you? What was that moment like for you, getting the call and being invited to the PFL for the Challenger Series?
Oh man, that moment, still to this day, I think about it. I didn't understand how big it was. At first, it was like a regular fight to me until the whole process was different. As an amateur, 4-0, and then my first pro fight, the process was the same. I had the hotel room. I go to the Plymouth Memorial Hall, get there Friday, weigh in, fight Saturday. It's a whole different process, a whole different ball game when you get to that level. So I get the call, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, nah, someone's playing the joke on me. This is the PFL. This is the top of the food chain at this point. And a lot of coaches and a lot of friends told me it was too soon. It was too early. Don't do it. But I'm a dog. It didn't matter to me. So I went anyway. I took it. And it was exciting, but it was a different process. And even the young fighters in the gym, I tell them all about it because honestly, the lights was too bright, the stage was too big. And that's all it came down to. Abraham Babley did his thing. He tore my ass up. He did what he had to do. I could not perform that night at all. And honestly, I froze. The lights was too bright and the stage was too big. But it was a great experience. And trust me, I know what it is now. I'm ready. And I'm going to go on a run and I'm going to get that call again.
For sure, man. Ultimately, like you said, that fight doesn't end up going your way. But what was the biggest lesson that you learned through the process, through the fight? And what are your biggest takeaways from that moment?
Be more prepared. I definitely feel like I was prepared for the fight. My nerves, I wasn't prepared for the moment. I didn't understand how big it was. From them flying me out, staying on the resort for the whole weekend, and everybody on the resort knows, they see the PFL shirt because you're wearing all that gear.
Right.
Everyone's coming up to you. It's like a mini celebrity status that you touch. And for me to touch that at only 1-0 as a pro, it's different. So it was a big moment that I didn't understand, and I was just going through the flow. And when it was time to perform and those lights was there, that whole moment came crashing down on me, and I could not shake my nerves at all.
For sure, man. Definitely an elevated step up in the production and everything that goes into, the bigger organizations like that. But it is nice that you kind of got in there, got to see what it's about. Now, next time you get that call, wherever it may be, whether it's the PFL, Bellator, UFC, any of these bigger organizations, now the next time you get in there, you're more prepared. You're mentally, you've seen it before. Now you kind of know what you're getting yourself into this next time. And I think that's very important. I think that's going to be a big step for you in that once that next step comes again.
Oh yeah, it's definitely very important. I coach all the fighters at the gym on that now because, like I said, it's early in my career. I experienced it and I seen the difference. So now I know and I understand. And next time I just gotta shake my nerves and fucking perform. That's all it came down to. But also shout out to Abraham Blably. I can't take nothing away from him. He came in there and did to me what I did to 4 or 5 other people. So, and it's the fight game. That's all that's to it. There's gonna be a winner, there's gonna be a loser. As long as you get up and move forward and continue doing your thing, you're gonna succeed in this world.
100%, man. I love that mind state. It's definitely very important to keep that level head and, keep yourself moving forward. Always got to pick yourself back up, get back in there, get back to the work. And seems like you're doing that, man. So I applaud you for that off the rip. This next one, bro, you're getting back into Plymouth Memorial Hall, like we talked about, Cage Titan 61. How excited are you to get back into the hall? It's been almost a year since we've seen you, and I know everybody's juiced to see you back inside that cage.
Man, I'm really excited to get back in there. There's been a lot of heavyweights coming around lately, and I feel like I started the heavyweight trend back up. Like I said, I'm the hardest hitting heavyweight there. Everyone else coming out there wrestling and doing this and doing that, they're putting on a show, but it's different when I come and put on a show. They come and see this big heavyweight.
100%, man. You definitely draw quite the crowd, and I'm sure the hall will be buzzing once we get to see you make that walk again. Cage Titan 61. Let's talk about it a little bit, man. You are going in there, Plymouth Memorial Hall, Cage Titan 61, taking on Max Lombardo. This is a rematch for you. He was actually your very first amateur fight. How do you feel about this matchup now that you're a pro? You got a lot more experience under your belt. How do you feel about this one now as a rematch, given it's been so much time since the first one?
Uh this one is kind of tricky because the first one was a dog fight for me. I was very, the experience wasn't there. I got the knockout in the 3rd round. And honestly, I got lucky. I'll be real with you. We both was tired and I landed the perfect shot. I got lucky in the 3rd round and put him down. Max is a dog. It's going to be a dog fight, but I am much more experienced at this time. And I'm looking for that first round big knockout just to get back rolling. But I know Max is a dog. He's an old dog and he's hard to put down. He's gonna be right there in my face. It's gonna be a good fight. But it's tricky because it's a rematch. It's the nerves are different because it's like he know me, I know him. So it's kind of hard to explain. It's like I watched that fight over and over and over and over again. And it's like it's hard to break down and explain, but it's gonna be a great fight. And I know we both coming to put on the show.
For sure, man. Everybody's ready for it. Where do you looking at this matchup against him, man? How do you see yourself winning this fight? Where do you see yourself having the advantage overall? And do you see any parts of his game that might be able to give you some fits?
I mean, I'm gonna come in there and dog it out how I always do. I just think right now I got more experience, more confidence than the first fight, and I definitely elevated my game all around. As we already know, I got the wrestling background history, which I don't like to use. I like to bang, but you got to use it. You got to put it in there. So all fights, I think I've thrown 3 kicks in every fight I ever had. So the kick game has elevated. I just feel like I'm a little more elevated now, and I'm a little more confident, and I'm gonna be more dangerous in there. I've been in there with Max. We went to 3 rounds. I know what he got. He know what I got. But I just feel like I'm elevated more, and I also have something to prove coming off a loss, and I just got to get the ball rolling again.
For sure, man. Everybody inside the Plymouth Memorial Hall, all the fans, everybody watching at home on pay-per-view, what can they expect from the return of the Bounty Hunter at Cage Titan 61?
Fireworks, man. You already know, fireworks. The intros are always interesting. I might pull up in a Lambo again. I might fucking pull up on a horse. Who knows? Fireworks. It's the big heavyweight is back, man. That's it. We coming to bang and put on the show.
Oh yeah, man. I love to hear that. On this card, there is another big heavyweight fight, co-main event title fight between Ross Hilton and Joshua Marsh. Sure, you're going to have close eyes on that one. Picture this, man. Is there ever a world, right, where you get in there, you get that first round victory, first round KO like you're planning? Is there ever a world where we see you get in there and face off with one of these guys after they claim the heavyweight title?
So Ross is my boy. Me and Ross train We cross-train with each other a lot. At this time, I would not fight Ross, but Marsh could get it.
Mhm.
If some way, somehow, I got Ross winning the bout. He's still going to be the champ. He's retaining the title. If it goes a different way, shit, I might just walk in the cage and tell the other dude, what's up? Let's do it. Why not? Like I said, when it comes to Cage Titans, I am the heavyweight there. I'm the big dog there. I just don't got the belt. That's all. I wasn't ready for it. 1-0 as a pro at the time. And Battles is another big dog there. I feel like us two are the big heavyweights there. Other ones are coming out now, but nah, I'm up next for it. I say 2-3 wins. Let me get my foot wet in the pro scene because I really haven't experienced the elbows to the head, the knees to the head. Like I said, I'm still young in the game. So I want 2-3 fights, and then if Ross don't have that belt, I'm coming for it.
Hell yeah, man. I love to hear that. All right, brother. I appreciate you for taking the time, man. It was great to finally get you on here and chop it up with you a little bit. Before I get you out of here, anything you want to say to the people? Where can they find you on the socials? Any sponsors you want to shout out?
So I'm going to shout out all my sponsors. I got Bearded Arms, Gun Shop in Chicopee, Mass. I got the Smoothie Shop. Sheesh, I can't even think of names. It's been a while since I talked to all my sponsors, but they know who they are. Shout out to all my sponsors. Shout out to everybody that support me. You can look me up on Instagram at Hassan Graham. Also on Facebook, Hassan Graham.
Hey, man, I appreciate the time once again, man. Thank you for coming on. I'll see you over at the Hall in September, man. Best of luck to you. Go get that W. And I know the Hall is going to be buzzing for you to make that return.
Let's get it.
Got down for the count and he can't even talk now. This MMA, what we talking about? Yeah, you tuned into the pod now. Gonna be hard for you to stop now. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in. Yeah, we caged in.